Me, Troy, Evan, Steve, and occasionally Beffrey, we'd always be together, hanging out, filming videos, going to Walmart, because there's not much else to do in Michigan.
We were all a part of the same theater class, and so we would come up with these videos, and we'd add some kind of twist to the end of the video for how it relates to school, and we'd get away with showing it to the whole school board.
Yeah!
We made a video about a serial killer who, like, he was force-fed waffles as a kid, so he always wanted cereal.
Eat up, son. Your mother made those Eggo waffles, and I want you to enjoy them.
But I want cereal.
Shut the fuck up and eat your waffles!
Why can't I have cereal like a normal boy?
Because you're not normal, you're a fucking freak! You're probably gonna end up wearing dresses and lipstick like some bitch!
Basically, the moral of the story was, like, make sure you eat your breakfast. But it was a story that we created and we wanted to tell, but we wanted an excuse to show it to the school. I was the director, and that comes with the role of being the director and kind of taking charge.
And one thing that bothered me about when we made videos was that Evan always set times to film. When I make videos, I don't plan too much into it. I don't really set times. And Evan always would be like, oh, we're filming at this time, we're doing this then. And I'm like, this is too much. It's like, because back then, now it makes more sense because that's what we're doing. But back then it was more like a hobby thing. And Evan he took it to the next level. It was like, oh, tomorrow at 2 p.m. we're gonna be filming this. We're getting it done. And that's looking back at it, he was on his shit. But back then it's like, hey, we're young. We're trying to grow up here.
Steve was always the one who was the star. Steve was always the main character and the leader, and I was always the guy behind the camera because I was the one editing it, so I had the vision for how it was going to play out. So there was always that tension of just well, you're the lead star, but I'm the director, so it's just all right, well, who's really in charge?
He holds grudges against people that have wronged him. He doesn't. Sometimes he goes out there and he tries to make things right, but most of the time I know he's very maybe passive aggressive about it. He doesn't confront the person, just kind of writes that person off.
Evan's one of those people that he won't forget something for the longest time, whether you do or not, and it's something that can cause a grudge or, I don't know, everything's with friendships heartfelt. Me and Evan had a falling out. Our friendship kind of came to an end 2 years ago sadly over a girl.
We were upset over 2 different girls, and we just stopped talking to each other for a year and a half.
I've heard both sides of this numerous times. For Steve, countless times I heard that Evan's a bad person.
Steve asked me if I wanted to come out to California, and it was at this stage, it was in May. I just finished my first 90 days of P90X. I was looking and feeling good, and we made the trip to California.
And they were all good at the time. And Steve just was, he came back and he was furious.
I did something that got under his skin, unbeknownst to me. And so we go out to a club one night, and it's me, Beffrey, Steve. These girls had recognized Steve because of, his videos. They went up to him, oh my gosh, Steve Cardinal, nice to meet you. So Steve introduced me to the girls that came up to him, and we had this really good chemistry.
But she came to me asking him, what's Evan's history? How is Evan? I think she was into him.
Is he a good guy or whatever? And Steve kind of threw me under the bus.
It was a douchebag move, but I said yeah, he's been with a lot of women. He has sex a lot because it was my frustration.
Steve had been through my whole relationship with Ree. He was there for the 4.5 years. So I was with Ree for 4.5 years, and we just broke up. That statement wasn't true. Evan gets with a lot of girls, that wasn't true at all. And even if it was, I felt, you're my boy, you're my best friend. You shouldn't be throwing me under the bus like that, especially with this new interest.
Evan holds grudges, and Steve kind of just, I guess he holds grudges too, so it was like a stalemate. Neither of them would talk to each other.
I'm not one for confrontation. I kind of avoid it. That's one of my main problems. Even today, if I have a problem with somebody, I won't really confront them. I kind of just I'll let it go.
Steve and I weren't talking bad about each other while we were on the outs, but we were just so thick-headed and prideful and stubborn. We knew what we were fighting about was over two girls and it was like a stupid reason, but neither of us wanted to come forward and just be like, hey, you were right.
Of course it had to be over a girl, right? Like, how stupid is that? Never let a girl ruin friendship.
I don't know why they were fighting each other, but it lasted about 2 years where they just wouldn't talk to each other, and now they live together.
You gotta face it, because there's a lot of problems people face today that they don't face it, so time goes on and it makes it seem worse than what it really is. If you just like go talk to that person, whoever it is, just go at it head on, and things will be a lot better that way.
Clay, when you get a chance, I gotta talk to you.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Oh, cool. Everything's good. We're about to leave. You've been great. How's Christmas holidays going on? Did you celebrate Christmas?
I do.
Perfect. Is there anything that you want, like, in particular? Is there something that you want to give to someone?
If you're thinking like
Like
a physical,
gift.
like a physical gift, camera would be great. You know, camera's always a good one. Anything like that helps produce things.
Well, I can't go get you a camera or anything, but I want to give you something, and you have to promise that it's not going to go into your bank account. Like
Okay.
you have to spend it on something. Like $5 isn't it? $5 really not going to get you a lot, right?
Okay.
But what I can do, magical time of the holidays. Check this out. If I take it. Now, I can't give you all 500.
Right.
I need to spend it.
Right.
But you've been so great. You have to go buy something for yourself.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Don't save that.
I won't. Thanks, man. That's really sweet. I'm gonna give you a hug.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I'll hug it out for Christmas. You know, Merry Christmas. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's super awesome. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. That makes my day.
Good. You made our day.
I promise you that will go to buying myself something to treat myself.
Just you can't save it. You
I won't.
you have to spend it on yourself.
I will. I guarantee it, Evan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate that. Have a great one.
The difference between this dollar bill and this $100 bill is the design that's printed on it. It's the same piece of paper, the same ink, just one has a different design. That's it. Money is the lowest intrinsic value form that value can take. There's really no value within these bills other than maybe to burn them and keep yourself warm for a couple minutes. What would you do every day, all day, if you could, without worry for what you'd get back in return? To yourself. Because when you develop a talent into a strength, that's when you have leverage. Leverage is all the power you need. Perfect the art of creating and giving massive value to as many people as you can without worry for what you may get back in return. Have the mindset, if I help enough other people get what they want, then eventually I'll get what I want.
When you're an internet personality and you're putting yourself out there in front of potentially millions of people, there's only so much of side of you that they're going to see. Is there negative sides of Evan that his fan base doesn't know about?
He's completely drug and alcohol free. I've never in my life seen him drink any alcohol or do any kind of drugs.
I bet you people on YouTube think that he's never drank before he has, so let's be for real.
Heads up, everybody. Evan drinks. Oh, that's crazy.
Evan's drunk. Evan's drunk, just to let you know.
Poor Joe.
Dude!
Once in a while, just like every other respectable adult that's out there, Evan will throw a couple back, from what I've seen lately.
You know, you grow as a person. It's hard to, when you're 14 years old, you don't know how the hell you're gonna feel when you're 22 years old.
The Cloyd family has kind of a history of smoking cigarettes and alcohol a little bit, and I thought it was a really bad habit. I knew that the Cloyds have an addictive personality like that. So I figured if I started drinking or smoking, then I would probably like it. And I wasn't ready to like it. So you're just mad.
Mad at what?
You don't almost like to wear black socks. It's starting to kick in that, like, I'm not okay.
Why? Drink water. Evan, worst case scenario, you die.
That's absolute worst case scenario.
I think that if anyone could just get out of that mental state of having that addiction, it would be Evan. Although he hasn't really gotten out of his mental state of his addiction for women, so I don't know.
Evan loves to flirt.
Me and my friend had this, we were both talking to this girl that we liked, and we were kind of like, okay, let's just talk to her and see who she's into. And whoever she goes for, the other person will just be like, okay, she's yours. And then Evan just swooped in and kind of started showing her magic and kind of took her from us a little bit, and we kind of both looked at each other like, did he really just do that? But really the one big personality flaw that I've seen in Evan is just being really selfish.
I feel very I need attention right now in the most sexual way, so it just feels really weird.
Mainly pertains to bro code stuff, which is kind of funny because it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, it's like, yo, it's the bro code. You gotta know it.
I was on the road with him for 40 days, and I got to see a first-hand account of the way he treats women, which isn't necessarily bad. It's just he has a tendency to lead women on, make them expect more than what they're gonna get. He's definitely someone who makes girls think that he's boyfriend material when really he just wants to sleep with them, or he just wants them right then, right now. He just likes to have fun with women, and he likes to treat them right. He likes to treat them how he thinks they want to be treated, but it ends up hurting them more so than anything.
I imagine if he had the opportunity, he would have relations with my sister. And I imagine if he had the opportunity, he would have sex with every one of his friends' sisters.
Beffrey, where's your sister?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Tell her to come here so we can hold her hand. And we're all telling Beffrey that we wanted to do her because it makes him feel uncomfortable for some reason.
I don't think it's really necessary to focus on the negatives. I think Evan is the type of guy to take a step back, examine his life, examine what's negative about him or his personality or his situation, and he's willing to work at it. And to me, that's the most important thing.
I always looked at him as kind of like my son too, and you tend to overlook those types of things, and you just look at him with love and you just say, hey, that's my guy right there.
My mentor, David D'Angelo, I heard him tell of a story of how man is like a captain of a ship, and he's on his boat and he's going across the ocean. He's on his path. He needs to get somewhere. He has a destination. He's on his path. And